Do you feel like you've been kind of bored of your recent marketing? Do you feel like it's kind of been the same thing over and over and over again, and it's just not making you excited about doing it anymore? And you just feel like you're tired of sending LOIs and you're tired of following up and doing all these things without like a system or some new things to add to the mix, like in your freelance writing life. So, what we're going to go over today is kind of those new things, like kind of incorporating some new fun things. Hey, Casey, into our marketing to make it more exciting, to make it more, you know, interesting to do rather than just kind of the same old over and over again. So, what I'm going to do is walk you through a few different things that I feel like are really helpful for freelance writers now to try and expand your reach in terms of marketing and help you with inbound more than doing a lot more outbound. So, one of the first things that I'm going to suggest is to fix your follow up system. So, for me, I love Boomerang. I am obsessed with Boomerang. It's just Boomerang for Gmail, and it helps you follow up really, really easily. So, all you have to do is take the message, right? Like you send an LOI to someone and they get back to you and they're like, hey, not right now. So, basically, you just click a little button in Boomerang and say, like, if no reply, boomerang it back to me in 3 months, or you don't even have to click if no reply. I just sometimes just boomerang them 3 months out. So then all Boomerang does is put that message back in your inbox in 3 months. It's really easy, really simple, and it's like a very easy system that you don't have to worry about tracking all these different things in a spreadsheet and losing things in a manual system. It just, recycles them back. And you can do that with LinkedIn messages too. So the LinkedIn messages that pop into your inbox, just boomerang that. I do that all the time. I just boomerang that notification. Hey, so and so sent you a message. And then boom, it comes back. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to check in on that message. So I go back to the message on LinkedIn, check in. But Boomerang makes it really, really easy for you to follow up on everything you need to do. So a lot of times I think follow up gets lost. Like people don't follow up or they get a warm lead. Like I don't follow up with people who don't get back to me unless it's a client I really want to work with. So a um, let's say it's like a really big company in one of my niches, or I just really, really want to work with them, that I'll boomerang even if they don't get back to me, because I really would like, I like what their company's doing. I like the content they're creating and I feel like I can help them. But a lot of times when I get a warm lead is boom, I just boomerang it back 3 months out, and I boomerang it back, sometimes it's 2 months. They're like, hey, can you follow up with us before the end of the quarter? Can you follow up with us in 6 months? Whatever it is, I just do that. And it's really, really easy. Like it just puts it back in your inbox. The follow up is super, super simple. So I feel like that kind of system works more easily than working on a spreadsheet or trying to track all your LinkedIn messages somewhere. Like it's really, really simple. That's kind of the marketing that kind of pays dividends, because you've already contacted them once. They've already gotten back to you, so they've shown interest, and it kind of helps you spend less time doing more marketing to new people and like more follow up. Like the more follow ups you get, the more irons in the fire you have, the better it's going to work out. So for me, a lot of times, like I'll follow up. Sometimes, like it's taken me like a couple of years to get people to get on board or to have the budget or whatever it is. But Boomerang's like easy. Like for them, I've just been keeping in contact once a quarter for whatever that is, 8 quarters, or I've been keeping in touch with them every 2 months, or I've liked their stuff on LinkedIn. I followed them on LinkedIn. Send them articles that I feel like are helpful. There's a lot of different pieces. Hi, we've got a friend. There's a lot of different pieces that help with follow up. I'm going to show you guys my little friend that has popped up here. She wants a Treato. So you can see her tail, but she's actually sitting right here by my foot. Hi, Minnie. She wants a Treato. Minnie, do you want a Treato? Can you get back in your bed? And then I'll give you one. She's like, I don't think so, lady. All right. I was in the middle of a marketing thing. Can you go back and lay down? You have to go back and lay down. It's over there. This way. There we go. Down. Down. Good job. Bear, you get one just for being beautiful. Age before beauty, right, Bo? You're beautiful and gorgeous, and I love you. There you go. All right. Back to the information, people. All right. So that's kind of the follow-up system. So Boomerang for Gmail. I think I have the paid plan, so it's like I think it's $150 a year. It might be $50. I can't remember. But it's totally worth it. It saves you so much time on follow-up. It saves you so much effort trying to organize all the things you need to follow up with. I also put warm leads in Dubsado. So that's my second thing. So if you're following up with them through Boomerang for Gmail, and you want to like keep track of them all in some place, I put them in Dubsado as a warm lead. So I have current clients, past clients, and then I have a warm lead section in my project base in Dubsado. And I just, every time I get a warm lead, I put them in there. So it's easy to track all these things. And every time they email me, Dubsado pulls in their emails there. Linda asked a good question. So Boomerang is free up until a certain number of messages. So I think it gives you 10 messages a month. So you can do Boomerang for free for a little bit, but honestly, if you're going to use it as part of your business, I think it's worth it just to pay for the paid plan, because like you'll end up using it over and over again if you're actively marketing. So Dubsado, when you have your projects there, like the warm leads, stop being sassy today. The warm leads are all the collection of people who have gotten back to me, and they either say, no, not right now, or they're like, yes, but like we're working on our budget, we don't know yet. So then I have a track of them in there. And because their email is in the project section, that means that their emails from my Gmail box get pulled into Dubsado. So if I ever just want to look at emails that we've sent back and forth, boom, I just go to the warm lead section, go to their project, and there's all the emails, all the stuff I've ever sent them, all the, maybe a proposal, maybe a contract, all the things are just collected in Dubsado rather than me searching my Gmail inbox all the time for it. So that's really helpful. That's another thing, is like you have several sections of this. We have Boomerang and we have Dubsado collecting all our warm leads and our projects. Another thing I think is really important is kind of incorporating a little more digital marketing. So I've noticed that sometimes freelance writers don't pay attention to all the other industries around them. This was me for a long time. I did not understand that there were other types of marketing that could be done for freelance writers. Like I knew other people who were coaches or who wrote books or who had other parts of their business that wasn't, you know, just freelance writing. And I was like, oh, that's for them. That's just for them. But it's not true. It's the things like an email list, or things like a video series, like, you know, going live, or things like putting out free infographics or free downloads. A lot of those things work really well for freelance writers because people go to your website and it helps people get more inbound and more inbound because people are downloading your freebies so you can follow up with their email. People are subscribing to your email list, and maybe you only email them once a month. Maybe you email all of your your email list once a month, just saying like, here's what's new with some content stuff I learned. Hope this is helpful. Maybe you end up having a free download that people share, and then they're like, hey, I got this from Steve, who got it from Annie, who got it from so-and-so, and I really would like to hire you. There's a lot of options there where people can pass your stuff around rather than you having to do outbound over and over and over again. So instead of sending LOIs and LinkedIn emails and like following up and all this stuff, you can have this network of items that you have that are free that people can watch or subscribe to or learn from or get a tip, and it feels like you're always in their inbox. So even if you get back to, like, even if you, hello, you're sassy today. Even if you only email them once a month, or even if you have a download that they keep referring to, your name is on the download, your name is on the email. They feel like you've been keeping in touch. And if you create a free item, like a resource, an infographic, some sort of downloadable, like you could do an ebook, you could do a step-by-step guide, you could do a checklist. All of these different things really help people who don't normally create content actually get the job done. So if you give them something valuable and they keep referencing it, they'll see how skilled you are and how much you understand how to build great content, how to, maybe it's a niche specific thing. Maybe you decide that, hey, I'm going to focus on fintech companies, or I'm going to focus on prop tech companies, and they really struggle with X, Y, and Z. I've noticed from working with them, it's X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. I'm going to create an ebook that solves problems X, Y, and Z, and poof, now they've got solutions, right? And here's kind of the like secret behind the scenes thing. People can get the solution to their problem, but they don't know how to implement it. A lot of times you'll give people a free download and they're like, yay, I have the answer. But it's really hard for them to now add that task to their list to get it done. They're like, oh my gosh, my boss told me to get this done, but I'm already doing 900 other things. And then they're like, well, she knows the solution. I might as well hire her to do it. So these kinds of things, I don't think people should get worried about giving away their secrets or like giving away too much in a free item, because people don't people don't actually implement it most of the time. You get some people who will, and they just like your free download and maybe they'll share it with someone else. But there's a lot of people who don't end up, who don't end up using your solution to solve their problem. They actually want to, they figure it out along the way. They want to hire someone to do it. You are real sassy today. Okay, we've got a real sassy friend. She has escapade again, and she's here, down here. There she is. Hi, Minnie. Here she is, being a creeper. She's only here for the Treatos. You're so sassy today. Bear, can you catch this one? Good job. I won't throw it at you because I feel like that's hard for you. All right, Minnie. You get one more, and then you have to go be a normal dog. All right. There's Bear, being a good boy. And there's Charlotte, sitting on the pet bed. Okay. So that was downloadable. So any way that you can create an email list, and the email list is basically like automatic follow-up, right? Now that someone's downloaded your thing, learned from it, seen that you have the solution to their stuff, they can, yeah, Charlotte is learning to game the system. So now that they have like your thing in the solution and you've proven to them through your free resource that you know how to solve their problem, now they're on your email list where you can email them once a month or twice a month and give them more help. And then you're always in their inbox. They're getting used to how you write and what kind of tips you have in your knowledge base. And then that kind of complex, more complex system helps people stay in the loop. And when they're ready to hire you, boom, they already have your email. They already know you. They already understand a lot more about content than they did originally. And it kind of helps you get more inbound leads than having to do, again, a lot of outbound. So the next thing is kind of like doing video. So this is kind of what I started doing, is popping on here live. I committed to do it every week for 30 minutes. I do half teaching and half questions. Sometimes, as you might have noticed, I am a little verbose, so I go over the halfway part with my chatting and my dogs and my sassy friend here who's like, I don't know if you guys can hear the noises that she's making, but she's like making grumbly noises and staring at me. So I did this as a way to connect with more people and teach people more things and help people along the way. I just get a lot of questions in my inbox, or I help teach courses through the Freelance Writers Den, or I've, been a Den moderator for 5 years or been an ASJA mentor, and all of these things I've done. I just get these questions all the time. And I feel like this is an easier way to answer them, is I'm on live, I'm here to chat with you. And this also accomplishes a lot of different things for me. It gets me more comfortable being on video, even though sometimes I'm embarrassed or I say something dumb, or I have my dogs whine at me while I'm on camera, or, there's a lot of different things here. It also helps me connect with other writers. It helps me get more people to have my free pricing guide, which you can get below, to help other writers charge more for their work, which is really important because a lot of people don't charge enough. Like I've gotten several messages, like LinkedIn messages and inbox, like just regular emails from people who are like, I've been freelancing for 20 years and your guide made me think about this and this. Like, that's double as long as I've been freelancing. And I still feel like there's people who aren't just newbies who need to connect with more writers to learn from a wider audience. A lot of times we isolate. We're alone. We do our work alone. Yeah, we have friends that are writers, but we, especially with all the COVID stuff, we're not able to get together in person. So I feel like when you have video, you can teach people about content. Like I have a friend who has a podcast. That's another option. And she puts that out in her niche. Like her niche is very, very specific. And it's a very small section of a much larger niche, but it's very, very niche. And she puts out a podcast with all these experts and she gets clients from it. And if you feel like you can make a hospitality tech podcast or a restaurant podcast or a real estate podcast or a fintech or a, whatever your niches, or a healthcare or health tech or whatever kind of your niches are, if you can make a podcast or a video show where you're teaching people how to create content for that niche, that helps you get inbound leads too. You would be surprised how many people end up popping over to YouTube and they get stuck in a YouTube hole and then they end up finding you. Like they're like, oh yeah, I was on YouTube to figure out how to fix my washing machine, which I did this week with the help of someone else. And then you get into a hole of like, oh, look, these nature sounds are really nice. While we do all this work, these nature sounds are nice. And then the next suggestion is like, hey, 3 marketing tips for freelance writers. You're like, oh yeah, like I'm a freelance writer. Let me check that out. You'll be so surprised how many holes people fall into on YouTube or on a website. Like that's why this is both here and on my website. So that's another thing about having a video show about content in your niche is people can find it. And the second part is people get on your website and they now get to know me through video. They know what I sound like. They know what I look like. They get an intro to my dogs, especially this one who is sassy. Let me see if I can get her. There she is. Especially this one who's sitting there with her ears up waiting and waiting. You're a good girl, even though sometimes you sit there like a weirdo. Like, can you guys see her little mermaid legs? Her little mermaid legs. That's why we think she's Frenchie and Pitbull, because she's got these little tiny mermaid legs. You're so funny. Okay. Yeah. So basically, people get to know me through video, and they can see that on my website. Oh gosh, what? They get to know me. They don't have to find me through YouTube. If they find me through my website, then they get to know me here. And maybe they hire me because they see that I understand video, or they feel like I can help with their webinar, or maybe they have a video series or a podcast that they feel like I can help with because I'm teaching all this stuff about content and marketing and all these different pieces that go into content strategy and content marketing. So if you had something like that, people get to know you better rather than just a website and rather than just your outbound marketing or what you put on LinkedIn or what you put on social media. So there's a lot of different ways where we can kind of switch up our marketing to give ourselves a little bit more playtime. Like, this is fun for me. It used to be really nerve-wracking, but this is still fun for me to get on here and talk to y'all and answer questions and, explain things that I get questions about all the time. It's fun for me to hop on and share it with my whiny dogs. Hello, I see you. And it's a fun thing to do, and it gets me kind of more comfortable in certain areas that I want to grow in. So if you can kind of find some marketing things that you would like to do, like maybe you don't want to be on video and maybe you don't want to do podcasts, so maybe the free download sounds like a good idea. Maybe what you want to do is use a LinkedIn strategy to start liking and commenting on a lot of other people in your niche's posts. Like maybe you want to go into LinkedIn groups and join a bunch of groups. Maybe you want to do in-person networking when that's allowed again. Maybe you want to do networking through Zoom calls. Maybe what you want to do is do networking through LinkedIn, but get on a Zoom call. Say I want to do 2 Zoom calls a week to network with other people. Maybe those people are writers. Maybe they're writers that are not in your niche. So you guys can say like, hey, if I get an inbound in this, I'll pass it to you. If you get an inbound in this, pass it to me. So there's that. Or maybe you want to get on Zoom calls to talk to web designers, to talk to website builders, web designers. Maybe you want to talk to graphic designers. Maybe you want to talk to branding consultants. Maybe you want to talk to, other people in digital marketing who might be able to pass clients your way, and then you can help them as well. Like maybe someone needs a website done, but they also need their content refreshed. Maybe someone's getting branding work done, but then again, they need some content, like maybe they need help with a free download, or maybe they need help with a bunch of other things that go with their website to freshen it up. And that's where that referral network comes in. So there's a lot of different pieces we can do here with our marketing that, yes, I see you. That I don't know if you guys can hear her whining, but she's sitting here staring at me with her one ear up. And there's a lot of things we can do with our marketing that are really great techniques that help us get more inbound, but also get people to know us better, get us to teach people things, help us follow up quicker and with less stress and less complicated systems. And there's a lot of different like out of the box ideas, I bet, if you spend some time thinking about your marketing of like, where are your niches and what are they doing? Do they respond better to video? Do they respond better to newsletters? Maybe they respond better to paper mail. Maybe the idea is to make a cool postcard and mail it out to everybody. Like that's kind of a little bit old school for, freelance writers, but maybe that's the way. So if you have found this helpful so far, if you feel like you have gotten value out of this, or it's answered some of your questions, make sure to hit the like button. And if you would like to hear more, subscribe below. I'm going to hop through the chat and answer some questions if there's any in there. And Charlotte is over here being wild, so I'll give you guys another quick update. Let's see if I can move this back to where Bear is. There he is, being a good boy. Charlotte, you have to go back to your little hobbit hole. Good boy, Bear. There you go. Charlotte, you have to come back over here. You have to come back over here. Charlotte, you have to come back over here. There we go. We did it. Good job. Good girl. Good boy. All right, one more for the road. Okay. All right, now we're going to answer some questions. Let's go back and look through the questions as you guys look at her, like stare at me with her Betty Davis eyes. All right. I already answered if boomerang is free. Oh, Charlotte. Charlotte, back up. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Good girl. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Did you get it? Okay. All right. You guys are getting a lot of Tritos today. Kind of a wild day. Okay. My marketing seems... Okay, Linda says... I'm going to pop this up here. So Linda says, my marketing seems to lack a lot. It might be me. It might be something I'm doing or not doing. I think I need to be... Yeah. So the marketing that you're doing, it's just got to be consistent. Like whatever system works for you, you have to do it consistently, and you have to make sure that it's something where, you can do it with a frequency that makes sense for you. So like I, a lot of times, I like Boomerang and I like sending LOIs because it's just really easy for me to pop in LinkedIn and send some LOIs. I have templates for those. I have different ones that I customize. It's just a lot easier. And I have premium, so I end up doing a lot of in-mails just because it's a lot easier to I get 15 in-mails per month with premium. And so I just send my marketing that way. And I always feel like if I don't use those 15 that I'm kind of behind. So it kind of pushes me to get it done. I think right now I haven't done it in a little bit. So I have like a stockpile, which means I can do a ton of marketing if I want. Like I can just boom, 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 send them out. But hi guys. But yeah, so if you guys have any other marketing questions, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, we might be done. And everybody's standing at attention today. Everybody's like all about the Tritos. I think it's because you guys have been wild recently. We've been doing so much labor around the house. All right. You guys are cute though. Sure are cute. All right. Okay, so no more questions, it seems like. I just feel like one last thing I'm going to add here. If you have something that you just want to try, just try it. Some of the best things that I've ever done in my career have been just from saying, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm just going to try this. I'm just going to see if it's going to work. I'm not going to put pressure on myself about whether or not it'll work out. Just pick one thing and just experiment with it. Just try it. I bet it'll work out better than you think. Every time I've tried something, it worked out better than I thought it would. So I would try to, maybe you want to just try one download, or maybe you want to release one infographic a month on LinkedIn as a post. Pick something that you want to experiment with and try, and then just try it. Don't put pressure on yourself. Have fun with it, and experiment with marketing. Oh, we've got a few questions. So Jenny says, let's pop Jenny up. Jenny says, I struggle to stay consistent and remember to follow up. Should I create a spreadsheet to keep track of all the business and magazines I reach out to? Oh, Jenny, this is a great question. This is why I love Boomerang. So I have Boomerang for Gmail, and I just, I don't need a spreadsheet because I have Boomerang, and then I also have Dubsado. So with Boomerang, every time someone gets back to me, let's say a magazine gets back and they're like, not right now on your pitch, but try again later. I'll Boomerang them 3 months out. I'll just click the little button in Boomerang and just say hey, put this back in my inbox in 3 months. And then 3 months later, I'll write up a pitch and send that. Or, if it's a business, I guess magazines would be a little quicker than that. I guess my magazine scale has been a little longer. So if it's a business, Boomerang it out and it'll just boom, put it back in your an inbox, and it makes it a lot easier to follow up. And then every time someone gets back to you, I put it as a warm lead in Dubsado. So Dubsado is like how I run my business. It's like how I make calendar appointments, how I track my income and expenses. Here's how, like, it's how I have my to-do list. It's how I have all my projects, invoicing, all the stuff. So every time someone gets back to me, I create them as a warm lead project in Dubsado, and it helps me track all their messages. So once their email's in there, every email they send me gets put in Dubsado so I can see it. But when I have Boomerang and Dubsado working together, it's just a lot easier to track everything. And I don't need it. I used to have a spreadsheet, and I don't need it anymore because, like, every time I just have Boomerang put them back in my inbox. Like, nothing ever gets lost because I Boomerang it. And then I also create a project in Dubsado. So I hope that was helpful. Yeah, it's Dubsado. Dubsado. It's not free. They give you a trial. I think that it's I don't know how long the trial is. It might be free for like a certain period, or like if you have like 2 clients or something. But they let you use it for free for a little bit. So I would do that. Like if you, I know for freelance writers, we have more than 2 clients. I think the number of clients on Dubsado is really small for the free plan, but it's like, I want to say it's like $300 a year. So it's basically, you know, 25 or 30 bucks a month. I'm not good with mental math on the spot. So it's 25 or 30 bucks a month. And seriously, it's saved me so much time and energy. It saved me from spending all of this money on other tools. Sometimes I really struggled with buying things for my business because I was like, oh, it's money. I can try to use it for free. But like, there's so many things that I got rid of when I got Dubsado and when I have Boomerang. Like, yes, it costs money, but man, I don't have to use 800 tools to do things anymore. I have one tool. I have like a few tools that I use. Like, I limited the amount of tools, and it makes it so much easier to just get things done. And just, man, follow up and marketing and tracking is all a lot easier in there. Yeah. So Dubsado Camille says it's free up to 3 clients. Okay. So for freelance writers, if you have 3 clients or less, it'll be free. But most of us, I would say, like, along the course of working, have more than 3 clients in a year. So you'll end up having to pay for it. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. I got rid of Calendly and Trello and Harvest and all these other systems that I had. Like, I got rid of all those things and it condensed it into one. I love it. It is the best. So yeah, and I'm like, if you're looking for ways to pare down how much money you spend on all these different tools and things, like Boomerang, Dubsado, those are my 2 of my favorite tools. So I hope this was helpful so far. If you feel like it was helpful, thumbs up. If you feel like you want to hop on the boat and hear more about freelance writing, subscribe. I'll give you one more sassy penguin. She's down here being wild, asking for more Treatos. She's finally figured out the system. Like, she's down here. Hi. She's like looking at the camera because she's like, thinks she's going to get something from up there. Yeah, there she is. Here you go. All right. All right. Let's see if I can switch it back now. Maybe I can't. Maybe we're stuck on Charlotte forever. Nope. There we go. What'd you put? Hold on. We have a little production issue. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Okay, so I'm going to answer Linda's question that I missed from before. So one last thing here. So Linda says, many of the magazines I see require a subscription. With libraries closed, how can I inexpensively find magazines to read for marketing and not spend hundreds of dollars? So there's a few things. There used to be a tool that started with a T. There's an app that you can find that has all the magazines in it, and it's $10 a month. So for $10 a month, you can read basically every magazine that's ever been magazined. So I forget what it's called. They changed their name. It used to be called something, and then they changed it. But if you just Google like magazine app, and it should pop up. It starts with a T, and it's $10 a month, and you can read all the magazines in there. It's just like, it's really, really easy. That's number one. Number two is if you're looking for travel magazines, or even sometimes not travel magazines, You can use the travel magazine database. It's not free. I think it's $200 a year, but that's from Gabby Logan, and she has a wealth of magazines in there. Yes, they're very travel focused, but a lot of those magazines have other sections that are not just travel, and some of those magazines aren't 100% travel related. So that's another option to use. But there's like a lot of things where you can just find the magazine articles online. Like they have like a digital edition. So if you go onto their website, sometimes they'll just say like, hey, here's the digital edition and you can read it. I've picked up tons of magazines at grocery stores. I've picked them up at Barnes and Noble. I've picked them up, man, everywhere. I picked up magazines, like I just go to the store, and even with COVID and stuff, we don't have to go to the library. We can just go to Barnes and Noble with the mask on and get them. But I would also look at their stuff online. Like a lot of times it's just really helpful to read their online content, and you can kind of get a feel for their tone and style. And then what you need to do is kind of like figure out the structure of the magazine, like what their sections are, how they have their like front of book and back of book. You can also use Media Bistro. Media Bistro has a how to pitch section, which is not free. I think that's like $70 a year. And that teaches you how to pitch like hundreds of magazines. They have this big database where they've interviewed editors from those magazines, and they say like, well, what kind of stories are you looking for? How much of your work is freelanced out? How much do you pay? There's a lot of things in there. So try all of those things first and see how that works. Hello. Now we're on this side. Now we're looking for Tritos over here because you figured out where the container is. So I have a little container full of Tritos over here, and now she's over here looking for them. Okay. So I think that was everybody's questions, and I hope that was helpful. So try those different things with marketing. Experiment with a few different things. Try to look to focus a little bit more on inbound. See what you can do to do inbound, like work on your website, work on LinkedIn, work on things that you can do to get people coming into your website rather than always having to send everything out. So hope this was helpful. Hope Charlotte being wild wasn't too distracting. But hope you guys have a great Friday, and I will see you next week. Bye.